humans dream of gaining superpowers and becoming an Avenger, there are already many creatures on Earth that are reveling with their astonishing abilities. What's surprising, not many people know about, from being immortal, firing out air bullets, or creating one of the strongest substances on the planet, all of these creatures are amazing. Every so often, some of these species have developed abilities or attributes that they shouldn't have either. We're going to look at the unusual abilities and powers that these special creatures have in their arsenal, as well as look at how much they're worth. So let's get started. In 2016, a video went viral of a large chimpanzee fight at Twycross Zoo in England. Two of the chimps involved were hairless, yet the exact cause of the hair loss is unknown. However, one of the chimps, called Mongo, apparently inherited this look from his hairless father, Jambo. Due to this, it's believed that it was caused by alopecia rather than stress, causing the chimps to shed drastically. The hair loss has not affected Jambo too much, as he's seen as the dominant chimp in the Twycross Zoo. In most of the US, it's illegal to own a chimpanzee due to their immense strength. However, in the right states and with a permit, people can get one as a pet. In 2017, the BBC investigated the process of traffickers selling baby chimpanzees through the black market. These young chimps were being sold for around $12,500 each to wealthy families. Back in 2009, there were other estimations that a chimpanzee could cost at least $60,000. Have you ever wanted to try your hand at hypnotism? Well, instead of grabbing a pocket watch and a pliable person, you can use a chicken. Simply hold the chicken's head to the ground, then draw a straight line from the chicken's beak and out. It can either be in the ground with your finger or by using chalk. The chicken will be mesmerized by the line. They can stay like this for 30 seconds all the way up to 30 minutes. If the line is destroyed, the chicken is nudged gently or startled by a large noise, they'll snap out of their trance. This trance is known as tonic immobility. Essentially, the chicken is playing possum, but since the chicken is blinking and breathing clearly, they're not too great at it. If you're after a chicken to try this out on, but would prefer a luxury one, then that would be the I am Samani species. They're known for their amazing jet black coloring. In 2013, they were being sold for $2,500 each. Now they're being sold for around $5,000 each. Sharks love to eat. In fact, often they'll overeat and will consume things that are difficult to digest, such as feathers and bones. Well, sharks aren't able to vomit the contents of their stomach like we are. So in a highly stressful situation, the shark will vomit its whole stomach out. Yeah, it's pretty weird and gross. The reason is believed that the removal of these difficult foods will make it easier for the shark to escape from the situation. The shark will also do this if they've eaten something that upsets their system. When the stomach pops out, it's then cleaned by the surrounding water before being ingested once again. If you want to get a shark for your aquarium, you can buy a horn shark online for around $455. Just for the aquarium alone, it can cost $15,000 to $1 million depending on their size. People that own sharks state that they spend an average between $1,600 and $2,000 a month just feeding them. In 2018, a new ant species was discovered in the Borneo jungle of Asia. This species of ant is called Colobopsis explodens. If you decipher the last part of its scientific name, you might realize what these ants can do. When they're threatened, they latch onto the predator and bite down on them. Then they angle their lower half directly at their attacker and flex their abdomens hard. So hard that it ruptures and covers the threat of a bright yellow toxic substance, the smell of which has been weirdly compared to curry. However, this act does cause the exploding ant to perish. They put everything on the line for their colony. Since these ants are a new breed, getting hold of them as a pet is tricky. However, for those looking to get the ant farm, we've got a couple of options for you. Firstly, there's a gel farm that allows the ants to create their own tunnels. Online, that can cost around €70, around $79. For a massive acrylic farm, the price starts at around €380 or $429. The pistol shrimp is the Jesse James of the sea world. When it's hunting, it hides under some debris and waits. When it sees some prey, it gets ready by extending one of its specialized claws. Then the shrimp quickly snaps the claw closed. This pressure fires out an air bubble bullet towards its prey. The prey is then disoriented and the shrimp then feasts. The air travels around 62 miles per hour. It's really loud as well, reaching 218 decibels. That's louder than the average firecracker at 150. Anything above 150 can rupture the human eardrum. On top of this, the bubble raises the temperature around the prey if sonoluminescence occurs. This is when light is created from the imploding bubbles. It can be up to 5,500 degrees Celsius or 9,932 Fahrenheit. Luckily, it only lasts for a tiny instant. The price of picking up a red-banded pistol shrimp is around $25 online, while the tiger pistol shrimp is around $23. But if you want to splash some cash, the bullseye pistol shrimp can be bought for around $41. If you thought the air was safe from snakes, yeah, sorry, think again. There are a number of flying snake species, especially in Asian jungles. The genus of Chrysopelia can climb up a tree. Once they reach the top, they make some calculations. Then, when they're ready, they jump off in a J shape. They instantly suck in their abdomen and flatten their ribcage to become more like a wing. The snake then glides across the air as they continue slithering in a snake-esque fashion. Yeah, I know, sounds pretty terrifying. The snakes glide to save energy when traveling the jungle and also avoid the ground-level predators. It's also far quicker for them to glide as they can cover a large distance in a fraction of the time. They can actually glide better than flying squirrels. You too can have a flying snake if you so wish. Buying the ornate flying snake will set you back around $100 online for one between 3 to 3.5 feet in length, while a paradise tree snake is around $250 for one up to 2.5 feet in length. It's not every day that we see a real-life Pokemon, but that's what the cardinalfish is. It looks like they're firing out blue fireballs, but it's not technically its own ability. However, it's a combination of theirs and the ostracod. You see, ostracods are little sea creatures that are also called seed shrimp. Some of them have bioluminescent abilities. They often light up as a defense mechanism against predators. So when a cardinalfish takes a bite out of them, they light up. Since cardinalfish are prey for many underwater beasts, they spit out the ostracod and they don't draw attention to themselves. In videos that capture these moments, it makes the cardinalfish look magically beautiful. Various species within the family of cardinalfish can be bought for a home aquarium. You see, the long-spined cardinalfish can be bought online for around $16 each. Since this fish is nocturnal and they like to hide, a large tank may be necessary. Take this massive 175-gallon saltwater tank, for instance. It can be all yours for the price of $6,199. There are many birds out there that can mimic many different sounds, yet none do it better than the Australian lyrebird. The lyrebird's syrinx, the organ that allows a bird to sing, is the most complexly muscled of them all. As such, their singing and mimicking is incredible. They can copy the songs of at least 20 different species of birds, but they can also copy other more unusual sounds, such as chainsaws, laser sounds, car alarms, even R2-D2 from Star Wars. There's even some reports that lyrebirds can copy human voices. However, the evidence for this is spotty at best. In Australia, there are certain protections for wildlife called the Biodiversity Conservation Act. Essentially, there are loads of animals that are either prohibited to own or require a license to own. Lyrebirds fall into this protected status. The cost of an individual for breaking these laws can be as much as 330,000 Australian dollars, which is around 230,000 American. A corporation can even get a fine for 1,650,000 Australian. That's nearly 1,150,000 American dollars. The Darwin's bark spider is a relatively new discovery. They were first found on Madagascar in 2009. They're named after Charles Darwin and the fact that they resemble tree bark. The species can produce the largest spider web in the world. The bark spider's web can range from 140 to 4,340 square inches. But that's not all. The silk they produce is incredibly resilient. After all, it would have to be if they're produced over such a long distance. It's one of the toughest biological substances in the world. In fact, it's said to be 10 times stronger than Kevlar, the substance that's regularly used on bulletproof body armor. The US Army has been exploring the option of making their bulletproof vests out of bark spider silk. In 2016, Craig Biocraft Laboratories were awarded a contract worth $1 million. They're going to use a genetically modified silk called dragon silk. According to CEO John Rice, he managed to get a hold of the silk for around $136 per pound. Previously, the silk was valued at $13,600 to $18,000 per pound. We now have the Doctor Who of sea life, a beast that can literally regenerate. The Torotopsis dorni only has a diameter of 0.18 inches. Yet its nifty ability has resulted in a lot of research by scientists. This critter is essentially immortal. It has the ability to continually revert back into an immature polyp stage after reaching sexual maturity. This process is called transdifferentiation. That basically means it can change a group of cells into another type of cell. The jellyfish does this when it suffers environmental stress, is physically attacked, becomes sick, or old. It basically becomes a baby and grows back up again, then does the same thing over and over. Due to the size of the immortal variety, they're very difficult to own at home. Many researchers have to take to extreme measures to feed them in the laboratory. If you want a taste of luxury, you can find a fancy jellyfish tank for around $3,300. Typically, jellyfish tanks are around $200. The jelly critters themselves can be bought for between $18 to $150 depending on the species. Like the chimps, bears too can lose their fur. Sometimes, like the case of Eve in 2017, it can be due to extreme mange. After 2 years of rehab, she was able to grow her fur back. Yet for some bears in Germany's Leipzig Zoo during 2009, there was no obvious reason. 3 bears from South America suddenly began losing their fur. Various other zoos across the world saw a similar effect with their bears as well. The reason for their hair loss is believed to be a change in climate and diet for the bears. Yet scientists aren't sure exactly. Let us know what you think the reason is in the comments below. And that's it. Do you know of any other animals with amazing abilities? Let us know your favorites in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. All those actions really do help us out and make us feel good. Finally, thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next time here on The Richest.